So hi, my name is Bruno, and gonna be taking a quick look at Monster Hunter World. I'm gonna talk about some aspects on why I think this game's successful, as well as some aspects where I could use some improvement. Well, first of all, like I said in the PowerPoint, this world is built on hunting monsters, and from an artistic standpoint, I think everything follows that same nature. For example, first we can look at this armor. It's very primitive. There's scales and it's bulky, and the game pretty much follows the same pattern here with the armor. That everything kind of just fits into the world really great. Um, Everything here looks a mixture of ancient and ritual and has ritualistic elements, as well as the many ecosystems here. Like, for example, wait till this loads. Also, the game I think is very good at, even though there's a lot of information dropped at you, there's little hints here, like in the loading screen, that can help you along the way. So I think it's very helpful. Where a lot of people sometimes can get overwhelmed by the amount of options and grinding you can do. I know when I first started this game, at first it was daunting because uh, I thought it wouldn't be as complex, but really the complex nature I think just adds to the game's uniqueness and being able to think more critically when going into battle and fighting monsters and um, so forth. So, for example, I think they really did a great job here with crafting, where it's organized in a really interesting way where you can go through the varieties. Like this is potions, and here you can craft uh, traps or offensive items. And you see here on the right side, it tells you the materials that are required to craft this. And the cool thing about this is that sometimes if you don't have the material, it'll craft it for you. Like for example, if I need to craft potion, instead of having to craft potion first and then make a potion, it'll actually just craft the potion and the honeys at the same time, and then it'll start crafting the mega potions. That's I think that's very good mechanic in the game, and really is good for the player experience. Creates ease of use. Like here we go. Maybe I can. Actually, I don't have any herbs right now. Maybe. Alright, so this is a good example, right? Because here is a good example. So for this, you need immunizer and animus seed to craft um, an item. And in order to craft an immunizer, I need a prior item. So instead of having to go back and look for it, I can just click immunizer. And here's Catalyst and Mandroga Gora. That makes the immunizer, so I can just click and it'll just craft. And then craft. And then craft. So I think this mechanic here is really helpful in a game that's trying to be as detailed with all the RPG elements, and it just makes life easier for the player. Now, besides the mechanics and the artistic, from the art direction, everything is very consistent around the world. Like I said, this world here is primarily jungle. It's it represents a jungle, and this has all sorts of life forms here. Besides the monsters, it has smaller monsters such as these, and it really feels like a live ecosystem, and adds to the storytelling of the game. It creates a good environment where these monsters can inhabit, and it just makes everything that much more believable. It's really immersive for the player when you're fighting in the jungles and trying to fend off monsters and collect things, and you're searching, and sometimes too there's random events. So maybe you'll be looking for some seeds, and all of a sudden a monster will pop out of nowhere and you have to fight that monster. Or sometimes also when you look at the map here, you can't see any right now, but sometimes there's exclamation marks, and that would mean there's somebody here, like right here. So I can zoom in. So here's a researcher. So you can go to the researcher and you can get a quest that you wouldn't have been able to get before without just being in the main town world. So I think that adds a very interesting element of chance, of what we call RNG, pretty much. So it's a good element of that, and I think this game is actually crafted and developed really well. I think, like I said before, with the maps, it's very organized, just like the crafting. You can filter through options, gathering, traps, life, monsters, or you can hide everything. If you just want to look around the map, if you just want to focus on the main monsters, like the Wrath in here, you don't want all this other stuff clogging it up. And also, if you can't select something, you can always just zoom in, select, and it's very easy to understand and get the hang of it. I think that also, go back here. Let's go back to camp real quick. Also here in camp, right, the combat here is very exciting. It's not like any slow RPG you would think. And the weapons, each weapon has their own different unique characteristics, and while some weapons do resemble that of primitive use, such as swords or bows, they add a unique twist to them. Some of the weapons are it's kind of interesting how they crafted these. It's like some kind of steampunk world sort of element. So, but this is a gun, so it kind of shoots, but it actually is shooting just small bows, really. And at first you think this is, a very boring kind of, well, maybe not boring, but it could get repetitive. But you can actually just, it opens up the combat, make it more exciting. You can change the ammo type. You can change to sticky ammo that just sticks to a monster and explodes. You can have cluster bombs. That's kind of like artillery shells. Alright. Yeah. And this makes the game just more exciting, and combat it doesn't become a chore. It doesn't become repetitive that you're just trying to grind out monsters. Even though this is typically considered a very grindy game because of all the items you can collect, and all the armor options and the stats that you see here. There's stats, there's defense stats, fire resistance, water. It's really in depth. Right, so let's just look at some ammo types here. We have sticky. Just stick them. And then you have Variant too. This is a very awesome MO that adds for the player, you know, it creates that kind of epic moment where you're firing a huge burst and it blows up in the monster's face. You know, you get that rush of excitement, dealing damage and ultimately defeating the monster. Um, so this game, I would say, is very successful in what it's done. It was designed to be an RPG where the player can put in hundreds of hours into this game, and they've definitely done that. And they've definitely found a way to make it not as big of a chore like an MMO game where quests are the same or combat is very repetitive. Even though MMOs actually are, they sacrifice those elements for something greater. But getting back to Monster Hunter, I think they crafted this game very well because not only is it what the company planned for, but like I said before, they keep it fresh and exciting through combat and not having it become stale, very interactive. And you can have nests here, as Tommy. See, and the game is very helpful at telling you how to use items. It's easy to understand. And also, a really good feature in this game is tracking, where you can go to a map, you can track a monster, put a waypoint, and all of a sudden you have these fireflies that are showing you the way, and it's a very interactive, I think, interactive and innovative kind of mechanic to guide you to your destination.